Welcome back to another episode of the Dynamics Compass podcast, where we bring in the experts so you don't have to figure it all out the hard way. I'm excited today because Andrea was one of the first people on the podcast last year when I started. And today she's back to talk about why customers decide decide for going Business Central as their core ERP system. A little bit about Andrea. She is a former CIO who started her career as a nav end user. During her career to CIO, she grew to CIO, where she upgraded the organization to Business Central, later went into consulting, and she is now working for VCIO Global, and an organization that provides fractional CIO services to Microsoft customers. It's great to have you back, Andrea.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be back with you.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. A question I didn't ask you last time, but I started asking everyone now. What is something not a lot of people know about you?
Yes. Not a lot of people know that one of my favorite artistic outlets is quilting. And I
Nice.
love
Quilting.
fabric arts, sewing and making quilts, as I love the color combinations that you can get by putting different materials together. And I love because I make my own patterns. So the math and the calculations to figure out the pattern making. So bringing sort of the math and the art together. I think I've made around 30 something different quilts over the years. So that's my outlet, but I don't get to show it off too often. So I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, that is very unique. I did not expect that answer at all. Some people talk about traveling or it's a weird place they've been. Um, I did not expect this answer. Is it very like a way to refresh your mind to switch off?
Yes. Yes, I love it. I get completely immersed in it. And my favorite is to do 8 hours on Saturday and 8 hours on Sunday and have one whole segment completely done. And then I take a
Okay.
break and then I go back to it. So yeah, I fully immerse myself into it and I sort of go to another place. It's refreshing.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. I'll definitely remember you for that. Uh,
Good.
all right. Also for the people that don't know you too much, and so they buy into your answers. Can you share a little bit about your journey from end user to where you are today?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Happy to. So, yes, the bulk of my career for 24 years, I oversaw IT and business systems at a manufacturer of gourmet specialty foods. So near and dear to my heart. It was an amazing ride. I actually started in sales, and
Oh yeah.
after sales and sales operations, and hopped the fence into IT. So I sort of have that non-traditional background,
Yeah.
which is being, appreciated and celebrating more these days. So lots of natural aptitude brought with on the job training and learning and conferences and courses and so forth. And it was wonderful because we really developed a culture where IT, I have friends who work in IT and they're down in the basement and they're not really allowed to come out.
Yeah.
And both from my operational background, bringing it to IT, we believe that IT should be immersed throughout the entire organization, a partner with the operations in every step of the way. So my team and I were completely embedded through manufacturing, distribution. We had multiple sales channels. We were selling globally and e-commerce and in retail stores, and so it was a very rich experience working in IT at that type of organization. And we really worked to develop a culture where people, believed in the value of IT, but we also believed the great idea could come out of everywhere and that everyone should participate in testing. So it was sort of a playground to really bring what I feel are sort of the best attributes of IT, and we grew a ton. We acquired other companies, and we really just got to stretch our muscles through IT strategy, project management, change management over the course of over 2 decades. So at that point, I did hop the fence and I worked at a BC implementation partner for a couple of years, which was wonderful, very insightful to sit on the other side of the
Yeah.
table for a little bit. And now, yes, I'm at an organization where we provide virtual CIO or fractional CIO services. And I love it because it's the opportunity to use my experience to help others.
Yeah.
And it's fun. Why fall in the divot when you can work with a coach or a partner who can help you accelerate your learning and get you to success?
Yeah. No, I agree. There's so much value in having an outsider look
Mm.
inside with a different pair of eyes, lenses,
Yeah.
and see things that you might not be seeing because you're too much in the thick of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. So to the topic then. What are the common trigger events that get companies to consider a new ERP?
Yeah, I love this question, and everybody's different. I grouped them into three categories.
Okay.
So there's the proactive type of organization where they see something is coming. So they say, we're going to quadruple in size. We're going to acquire 6 companies. We know that our current system is not up for that job. So we want to proactively make a change. They might also say, oh, my system is end of lifing. It doesn't have a future. I can see that coming, so I want to be proactive.
Okay.
So those are some thoughtful, I like those thoughtful people who are planful and they can see that it's to our benefit to make a change.
Yeah.
I tend to find that that's more rare. A lot of people are sort of forced into changing their ERP system.
Hmm.
It's a very big undertaking. So understandably, there's going to be money, effort, disruption that comes with it. So I find people are more forced into it. So they're sort of pain and discomfort is starting to happen. I actually worked with a company who they wanted to optimize their processes. We've been doing it this way for a long time. We want to make things better, but they turn to 4 different solutions. Oh, we want to bring this in, say, for sales tax. Oh, we want to bring this in for automation. We want to improve the way we're doing things, but their system was an old version and it could not work with this. So they got handcuffed
Yeah.
and couldn't improve. Um, but then you sort of get to the real pain. Like pain is actually happening right now. It's worse than discomfort. You've waited too long and you're to the point where, your batches are so big they won't post at night. You're actually getting errors. You can't transact the way that you need to for your business. Obviously, that I think that's a reason why we now
Yeah.
can't do what we need to do. And that's when it becomes a fire drill and
Yeah.
is the least ideal. So I think of it different reasons along the pain scale. So a friend of mine often says, no one's asking for a root canal, but when the pain gets bad enough, they're begging to do it.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. Okay. That yeah. That's very helpful that you've split it into different categories. Is a new ERP always the only option?
I don't think so. So there could be, so kind of in simple terms, you might not need to get a new one, you may need to upgrade. So an upgrade could be an option, and that is worth looking at. Some people have gotten themselves into a great situation where they're on a SaaS ERP and upgrades happen automatically, and it's not a big deal. But if you're on an older ERP system and you want to consider an upgrade because we want the new features, we need to get on a new version. Sometimes still today, these upgrades are a significant undertaking.
Yeah.
And you may, say, well, we've always been on XYZ system, we'll simply upgrade it. And that may be the best path. I would challenge the thinking at that point, if your upgrade is going to be significant effort, to do yourself a favor and go back and look at the landscape today. Because in some cases, implementing a new ERP system could be comparable effort, but maybe there's new products that have come on the market, or the world has, the world is always changing.
Yeah.
So do yourself a favor and reevaluate if you have a big upgrade in front of you. Sometimes you might find upgrading with the current system, boy, the path they've been on is fantastic. The version today is feature rich, and it's in the cloud, and it's what we want to have.
Yeah.
Sometimes that upgrade is smaller effort than implementing a new ERP system. So I think it's upgrade path or a new whole system, but they really should be evaluated for the value and the effort it'll take.
Yeah. That makes sense. Have you seen companies move ERPs for the wrong reasons?
Yes. Yes. Um, as well, I guess we all have our different, I was going to say it's silly, but I have actually seen a situation where a company, a leader of an organization said, my friend's company just went on XYZ system, so we're going to move to that system. So
Okay.
whether it's my friend's company did it, or it's a fad, or their marketing is better, or, some non business value driven reason, to me would be the wrong reason.
Okay.
These systems are intended to allow us to do our business the best we possibly can and get value from it. So if it's not supporting a business value driven reason, I would consider that there's a risk that that's not a good reason to do it.
Okay. So not really having a business case at all to
Yeah,
justify your
yeah,
move. You might still end up with the best product out there in the market, but if you don't have the business case, then why are you
yeah.
doing it?
Why did you go through all that time and energy and effort and money to do it if you didn't get something that was significantly better than what you were doing today?
Yeah.
The other thing that question makes me think of is, choosing an ERP for the wrong reason. It almost makes me think sort of changing ERPs at the wrong time. So there
Yeah.
could be a right or wrong time to do it, or an ideal time to do it. So if your organization is already going through significant change, you're opening two new warehouse facilities, and you're acquiring another company, and you're overhauling something else, there's a certain point of change, a change threshold
Yeah.
that might not be the ideal time to do it when you don't have enough resources, people to put to the project, or they don't have enough bandwidth or mental capacity to do
Yeah.
it. So think about the timing. I do hear a lot of people talk about, we want to do the project when it's not our peak season, our high volume time of year, but also sort of think of it in context of the what else your organization has going on, because
Yeah.
you really just want to do this one time the best that you can. So think about the timing as well.
Yeah. You don't want to overburn or
Yeah,
burn out your people either.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Why are companies choosing Business Central?
Yeah, I think that's a great reason. I think Microsoft has a clear and proven history, a clear vision. Um, it is SaaS based. If you are in, if you are already operating in the Microsoft ecosystem, if you're using M365, Office, Outlook, everything, BC is going to be a very, very strong consideration for you, because the tools are just becoming ever more seamless to work together. So if you're already in the Microsoft ecosystem, strongly consider Business Central. I think also, if your business is small to medium size, then that makes you a great candidate for Business Central.
Yeah.
Um, if your system, no one ever wants to really be called simple, because that doesn't feel very special. But if you can objectively say that some of your processes are more straightforward,
Yeah.
then that's a great, great consideration for Business Central. I would almost suggest that people, if you hit any of, well, sorry, small to medium business, we actually are seeing and working with billion dollar organizations that have a global footprint that are using Business Central very successfully.
Oh, really?
So I think sort of the traditional fit for Business Central is expanding.
Yeah.
So I would almost challenge, prove that Business Central isn't a good fit for you, for your type of business, the size, the business, the complexity,
Yeah.
your footprint. Are you already a Microsoft shop? Those kinds of things.
Yeah. Okay. In what scenarios is Business Central a real no-brainer? Like there's no other options. You have to go Business Central. It just makes no sense to go anywhere else.
I love that question because I wish it worked that way. So, to be fair, I would say any of the things I just said, especially if you're a Microsoft shop already,
Yeah.
um, I would challenge that probably no decision at this size and impact to your business is a no-brainer.
Hmm.
It might be a short exploration. I would challenge people still to explore. But if you fit that profile of small to medium for sure, straightforward complexity or straightforwardness and not overly complex, then I would challenge people to consider Business Central and only see if there's a reason it doesn't work for them.
Yeah. I have found though, speaking with customers, that something that I feel that everyone is saying is our business processes are unique. No one will describe their own business processes as straightforward.
Yeah,
So I wonder if they would then think like, oh, if BC is for the
yeah.
straightforward business process, that's not us. We're very unique. Um, so yeah,
And I can relate to that. So in my previous organization, we would have partners come in and say, "Oh, that's not unique. We've seen that 100 times. No problem." And that stings a little bit.
yes,
So I would challenge us to think special. We can all be special, but our processes may not be that different from other businesses. So
yeah,
accounts payable might be uniform across a lot of businesses. Now, while I am special and I fill a unique void in the market and our people are incredible and our product is unlike anything else, don't confuse that with being, standard processes sounds bad at first, but standard processes are good, especially where it's not your unique aspect of the business. You
yeah,
know, payroll, everyone has payroll. AP, everyone has AP. So unless you have a real differentiation in the market directly tied to that, embrace where you have standard processes that are
mhm,
similar to other businesses and simple and not complex. It doesn't mean you're not special still.
yeah. No, thanks for clarifying. Are there a particular? I know you highlighted like small to medium sized.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep your processes less complex, but
Mm-hmm.
are there particular company profiles that BC
Mm.
tailors well to?
Yes. So yes. So basic business. So basic chart of accounts businesses for sure. Business Central is also good in the manufacturing space. I know that
I've
that is
noticed
one
that.
that is often called out. Manufacturing in general, food and beverage specifically. That's my particular background. So I, have many friends at other organizations that really have succeeded with Business Central when they're on manufacturing as well.
I've noticed that. I've spoken in
Mm-hmm.
the last 2 weeks. I've spoken to a bunch of partners, and when I asked them, "Oh, what industry or vertical do you
Yeah.
specialize in?" A lot of them said,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, manufacturing and food."
Mm-hmm.
Like, there must be a lot of companies in that industry then that have chosen Business Central as their core ERP.
Yes, yes, I believe so.
All right. So once a company has decided to go with Business Central, what's the best next step to take?
So it's a little bit out of order. I will still say to find your ideal partner, your implementation partner. So oftentimes with Business Central, you're working with a partner as part of your selection process
Yes.
because it's a partner network for Business Central. So you're working with a partner to evaluate Business Central if it's going to be the right solution for you. And you say, yes, it is. Now, it probably feels like you're married to that partner already.
Yeah.
and probably expectations that is true. So either at this point, it's not too late, or earlier in the process, I think critiquing and evaluating and finding the right partner fit for your implementation and support on. Hopefully, this is a many, many year life, relationship that you have. Because I have found that fit between an organization, so a partner company's style, you know, we're rough and ready, or we hold user groups, or we do, every company sort of has a style.
Yes.
That style of the organization has to fit the style of your organization, and the people at that company need to have a connection and a jive with your people.
Hmm.
So I know when we were going through selection processes for a variety of systems, including ERP, we would get down to getting close to making our decision and asking, say, about project management. Can we meet a project manager from your organization? Can we talk to them? Can we understand how you do project management? So we fit, because if that fit isn't there, it's just an unnecessary distraction, consumption of energy, and burden through the whole project. So you might feel like you're married to this partner because you went through the selection process with them,
Yeah.
but I would give yourself the best advantage possible for your project to either do a deeper dive on the partner you've been working with to really ensure that they're a good fit, and if not, take that opportunity before you start down the path to talk to a couple others. So find your ideal partner.
Yeah. Um, if that's the step for your vendors, for your solution selection process, would you
Mhm.
then go with a technology agnostic com advisor?
I think there's a lot of value in that. I think there's tremendous value. We talked earlier already today that having an independent, fresh set of eyes
Hmm.
can be tremendously valuable,
Yeah.
both because they will cover a blind spot that you naturally have,
Yeah.
um, as well as they have experienced different things, especially if you can find a partner or a coach who's system agnostic, but has done lots of these projects. They are going to have a wealth of knowledge and experience, again, that will help you avoid pitfalls and help you accelerate towards your finish line for success.
Yeah. Okay. I I don't know if this is a good comparison because I only just thought of it. When I'm gonna say it anyway, and if it's no good, I'll cut it out the video.
Okay.
When I moved with my wife to Australia, for example, I didn't have healthcare insurance. Found a broker. They would recommend me. The
Mm-hmm.
recommendation they made was the
Mm-hmm.
insurance company that gave them the biggest kickback,
Oh,
obviously. With
yes.
that with that mindset, I would think if
Mm-hmm.
um that I do want to be with someone who's technology agnostic,
Mm-hmm.
because if they're just very close to one technology,
Mm-hmm.
you they're not going to give you the all the comparisons. They're just going to
Yes.
try and push you towards that one technology. Does that really happen in real life? Or am I just making the wrong comparison here?
I don't think it always happens, but it does happen. So, we there are sort of behind the scenes commissions or financially advantageous relationships for every time you bring me somebody. So, of course, they're going to be leaning more heavily in that direction if they already have, a relationship or a benefit to them. So that
Yeah,
is something to ask people about. Do you have a financial gain in this selection process? And some can confidently say, no, we don't do that because we believe in a fair playing field and we are acting in your best interest. And you ask others and they say, I do get commission or benefits from two of the three partners we're looking at.
yeah,
That's a great question to ask so that you can make your choice. Are you comfortable with that, or are you not comfortable with that?
yeah. Okay. And I don't see anything wrong with going with different companies or different advisors that will
Mhm.
Like one will recommend Microsoft, one
Hmm.
will recommend Oracle,
Hmm.
and then put
Yeah.
their best solution design forward, for example, and
Hmm.
then you make
Yeah.
your decision. Um,
Hmm.
but if you have one person or one company to help you with your
Hmm.
selection, I think they should
Hmm.
be able to give
Hmm.
a full comparison.
Yeah. I mean, really, I think the ideal case is the layering of that. You have a technology agnostic coach,
Yeah.
advisor participating in your selection process, and you go to the people who are BC experts and XYZ
Mm,
experts. So, because a technology agnostic person may not know all the deep benefits of a solution, but they
right.
understand how to play fair and how to ask the right questions and how to critique so you
Yeah.
get the right solution. So, maybe a layering approach is really the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've been playing that role, and so we are playing that role, and I can see the benefit of it. And in my prior life, we actually engaged someone to be that coach while we did the deeper dives with the system specialists.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a safeguard as well to prevent you
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
just choosing a product based on the relationship you have
Right.
with the
Yeah.
executives there. Okay.
And having that layered approach, the CEO might say, or anyone might say, oh, now it's going to cost us more to find, we're paying someone to help us find the solution. Why can't we just ask the people with the systems? But my position is for every dollar you spend making the right choice, you
Yeah.
are going to save $5 to $10 for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It's too big of a decision to pinch and squeeze and try and minimize getting the right decision.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. It's an investment, not a cost.
Hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Last one.
Okay.
Uh, what advice would you give any company that is considering a
Mhm.
new ERP?
Yes. You said one, but I'm going to sneak in two.
That's fine.
So one is approach this project from a position of collaboration. Include a wide variety of points of view across your organization, because by having multiple points of view, you are going to get a better result. You're going to catch whoopses, you're going to bake in better ideas, and you're going to have a better product at the end to run your company on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have seen where the CFO doesn't want to bother anybody or doesn't want to give up control and picks the solution.
Mm,
But if they had engaged more people across the organization, it would have been surfaced that it doesn't have a key element that a specific function needed.
yeah.
So working in silos is to, I think, the detriment of the benefit you can get from this. So collaboration, multiple perspectives is
Yeah.
key. And then I think that you cannot underestimate project management and change management. It's a massive project that really needs coordination in order to be as successful as possible. And I believe the implementation partner, should have a project manager, and the end using business should have a project manager.
I was going to ask
Now, they
that.
don't necessarily have to have that title. Not every company is lucky enough, but they need to have someone that fills that role because they each can reach deeper into their organizations than the other one can. And so project management is essential to just keep the wheel turning and keep the activities being productive. And change management, communication, listening, involving people, giving them notice, proper training, lots of practice time so that everyone feels as comfortable as possible when they go live with a new system. And I
Yeah.
think those are kind of extras. We don't have money for that. We don't have time for that. That's woo woo stuff. You will have a supremely more successful and frankly less costly project when you really thoughtfully include those two disciplines.
That's actually a very um, interesting topic. How well are organizations in change management? Because it seems like it's a whole skill in itself that not a lot of organizations are mastering.
Mhm. I think you are very observant. From my experience, More and more organizations understand and appreciate project management, which is a discipline that's been around for maybe 40, 50, 60 years now.
Hmm.
And change management as a real discipline is really only more in the 20, 30-year-old space. So it
Yeah.
is newer. So not everyone knows about it, or even when you hear the words, don't necessarily know what's involved in it.
Hmm.
So I do think that not every organization is versed in it or understands the benefit that it can come from it. And I actually think, let's imagine we're talking to a lot of IT people, we're talking to a lot of senior leadership based on the topic we're discussing today.
Yeah.
I think that it is absolutely worth your time and money to delve into change management. And there's lots of ways to do it online, look at it, look into it more, and really figure out how your organization can adopt the practices. In again, I know I just said, but people think, oh, the people side of things, oh, that's really fluffy, and we're a serious organization. Well, if you're a serious organization and you care about bottom line, profitability, cost effectiveness, change management is a critical piece to it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I encourage lots of people. I love talking about it everywhere I go, to expose more people to it. I mean, it's priceless.
Yeah. I had a conversation yesterday where it was even suggested to consider um, finding another partner that specializes in change management because there are partners out there. They're great in implementing the solution, but change management is a different discipline that they haven't mastered. So maybe get another get another vendor in as long as they work well together.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I agree. There are just change management practitioners out there. And I come from a sort of a heart for coaching.
yeah,
So on this particular project, we invest the money and hire a change management practitioner, and they help us, and they're showing us the way. They're helping us put in the strategies. They're executing some of it. Through this process, we're learning those skills so that on the next project, we've absorbed that and maybe we can do it for ourselves that next time. So it's
yeah,
an investment not just in the project, but into the organization that you'll use for many years to come.
yeah. No, I agree. I've run out of questions here. You've again shared a lot of insights on a very different topic this time, but a topic close to your heart, I can tell.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I want to thank you for your insights again. Um, is there anything else? No, everything you've shared, I think they're very valuable for companies that are we're in a special time where both the GP users, they're looking at, oh, should we go to BC now? It's not the right time. Do we have the right reasons? The NAV users are not the same because they've got typically less concerns because it's closer related.
Mhm.
Um, and just in general, there's a lot of companies that are now looking at Business Central. So I think the topics that you discussed, what triggers them to look at a new ERP, why would BC be the right product? I think they're relevant to a lot of companies that are at this stage looking at should we change the ERP system. So thank you for sharing those insights. I wish you all the best at VCIO Global as well.
Thank you so much, Rory. It's been great.
Yeah, have a great day, Andrea.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching this episode on the Dynamics Compass podcast. We decided to launch this podcast after having spoken to a lot of people in the community who seem to be looking for answers to the same questions. So then we decided, why don't we find experts in the market that have the answers, interview them, and then release that information for free to help everyone progress their Microsoft Dynamics journey. So we hope that you found this video very informative and helpful for you to continue your journey and keep moving forward. If you would like to hear about any other topics, please write to me on LinkedIn, email me, Rory at thegoodtalent.co, and we'd be happy to have a look. We'll look for the experts that have the answers. We'll interview them and it will be freely available to you. Again, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for your support as well. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.